All right, hello scholars. This is Mr. Barry again with another video to help you with your second music packet. So what we have here is building off what has come in the couple of worksheets before this one. So we're going to be looking at some basic rhythm and note types in something called 4/4. Okay, that's really important, the 4/4. The note types are going to be notes that you have already seen. So we will be looking at quarter notes, which if you remember get one beat. We'll be looking at half notes, which if you remember get two beats. And we'll be looking at whole notes, which if you remember get four beats. Okay, so quarter is one, half is two, whole is four. The other important thing that we need to know about these problems is we need to know how to read these. So this kind of fraction here that says 4/4, that tells us something really important about the music. Okay, the number on top, as it says in this line, the number on top shows the number of beats per measure. So how many beats are there? And the bottom number just shows us what kind of note gets the beat. Basically, what that means is that a quarter note is equal to one beat. So what I know is that I'm going to need four beats, right? Because a quarter note gets one beat, so four single beats, 4 beats per measure. The nice thing about this is that number one is just kind of a practice for you to see if you can clap or snap the rhythm in number one. But number one also is really useful for us for the rest of the problems. It kind of shows us how we're going to answer the rest of the problems. So looking here at number one, we can see that each measure has 4 beats, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then after 4 beats happen, I get these measure lines, okay? And those measure lines divide it and say, okay, now I'm starting a new measure. And in this new measure, I have a half note, so that is 1, 2, and then I have another half note, which is 3, 4. That's 4 more beats, and then what do I have again? Another measure line. So every 4 beats, you add a measure line, right? And we can see that here. In the next line after, they have a whole note, and if we look back up here, we can see that a whole note gets 4 beats, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and after 4 beats, what do we add? Of course, a measure line, right? And they've written all this stuff in for you. Okay, and you can see so on and so forth. If you were to clap or snap this, it would sound like this. Now here's something to keep in mind is when you have a half note, when you snap, you're going to wait 2 beats before you snap again. So from the beginning of number one, it would sound like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how that rhythm would sound. Now, I'm going to do the first part of number 2 for you, and I'll do the first part of number 3, and I know that you'll be able to figure out the rest. Again, if you're ever confused, you can look back at the sheets that came before this, or this section up at the top is a great resource for all of your questions. So, let's look at number 2. It says to write a 4/4 time signature after the clef. We know that this is the clef. So write a 4/4 time signature after the clef. Write in the beat below the notes indicated, then clap the rhythm while counting the beats out loud. Okay, so the first part is self-explanatory. Write a 4/4 time signature after the clef. Here's the clef. So I'm going to write a 4/4 time signature after the clef, just like that. Yep, looks pretty good. Now, here's the really easy part. We just have to make sure that there's 4 beats in every measure. So I'm going to write that this one is beat 1, next one would be beat 2, next is 3, next is 4. How easy is that? Now some of you might put that this is beat 5, however you would be very, very wrong. That is not beat 5 because we have a bar line here. So after every bar line we start back over at 1, 2, and then this gets 2 beats, so this I say is 3 and 4. I put a little line in between them to show that they're connected. Yeah, and then we start back over, of course, at 1 because there's another bar line there. And then this would be 1 and 2 because it's a half note, 3, 4. Cool. So that's how that works. And I know that you can do the rest of them. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more measures for you to do on your own. Cool. Now let's look down at number 3, and I'll show you again how to do the first 2 measures here, and you can figure out the rest. So number 3 again says write a 4/4 time signature after the clef, and then write in the beat below the notes indicated, just like we did above, but this time it wants to do an extra step. It wants to draw the missing bar line. So let's start off with the first part. Write a 4/4 time signature after the clef. This is our clef. That's a bass clef, not a treble clef, but you should have seen that in the last packet. So after the clef, I'm going to write in a 4/4 time signature. And now we want to write in the beats below the notes. So just like above, this first one is beat 1. That would be beat 2. It's a half note, so it's 3 and 4. And then after every 4 beats, like our time signature says, after every 4 beats, I add in a bar line. So that's your job in this problem. It's after every 4 beats, you write in a bar line. So let's see. This, if I start over, this is not 5, remember, because I've got a bar line, so I start over at 1, 2, 3, 4, and what do I do after 4? I don't move on. My time signature says I only get 4 beats in a measure. So after 4, I'm going to draw myself a bar line. And that's your job, is to count up the rest of them and add in the bar lines like you need to. So we've done about half of the worksheet together. Your job is to do the rest of it. Yeah, and I'm excited to see what you come up with. If you do have any questions, as always, you can email me at kyle.berry@myrvla.org. All right, good luck, everyone.